Hey fellas, quick question. Who do you think is the most brokenly overpowered character in all Dawn stuff? Wolfgang? Wanda? Maybe Woody? Those are all solid options, but have you ever heard of Winona? I'm dead certain that Winona is the best character both DPS and utility wise. She's insanely good at early game with her rust-colored glasses. Any wormhole leads to any other wormhole, easy gap travel both in case and the ocean, literal immortality, free nightmare feel and pure horror, and complete immunity to chalice attacks. And in the late game, I bet you already know. So today I'm going to prove that Winona is the most broken OP character to ever exist by starting a new long-term world as her. And in this episode you're going to see the first 100 days of it. My name is Blackswan, but you can call me Blacks for short. Let's dive right in. So the first thing I want to settle down is of course the skill tree. The disassembling and the two remote skills are a no-brainer pick. I'll also get 3 of the greater generator skills and explosive valley. I'm choosing both of the spotlight skills and you will see why they are so good in this run. Both chalice skills for mentioned insane early game boost, a nightmare field skin to fill my generators with something a lot cheaper than Niter, and oddly the first finder's keeper. You see, this skill allows you to get cash boxes with calibrated perceivers, which I will call scanners from now on. Scrap, ducats and materials for your win bots, which means you can actually get them in the early game. And the scanner has a few uses too, as you will see. So with that out of the way, let's begin a long journey. Well, it's nothing unusual just yet. We're collecting all the basic materials like grass, twigs, gold, rocks, food and 12 petals for our rose-colored glasses, which we make on day 2. Look how I'm crossing the river right here. On the same day we explore our first wormhole. It's very important to find as many of them as possible to make traveling around the world easier later. And that one led me directly to the forest, exactly where I wanted to go. Even more, it's a Moonstone forest corrected to a triple mag task. That's what I call good world, Chan. After getting some silk here, as well as robbing a touchstone for the pig skin and nightmare feel, we find the Pig King biome, which is going to become our temporary home for this episode. But for now, let's just trade with him and convert all his houses into Walmarts. Alchemy engines, armor, weapons, tools, piggyback, you know the drill. As for the yummy stuff, I'm making my ink spectacles and a beefalo bell. That's right, I'm taming an ordinary beefalo in this run. But only after the ruins, cause knowing myself, he's gonna die. And here's our first Among Us puzzle. Remember I said that the Rictus was an Among Us ripoff? Well, that is Among Us ripoff. And I love it, unlike Rictus. But for now, I'm heading under the ground. If you thought I got lucky in the 3rd episode of Audits, well, you're right, I did, but no, here is where I got really lucky. First I gotta make a quick trip back to the surface to make the lantern. Anyway, after getting some blue caps and living logs in the grotto, I headed straight to the ruins. Also, I found Hutch. He will be helpful later. Here we are in the secondary branch, crafting a magiluminescence out of a yellow gem and a few thulecite I got from the first 2 statues. And the labyrinth is connected to this branch, so let's defeat the first boss of this run. No catapults, nothing crazy just yet, but the key word is yet. And also, I won't be focusing so much on the boss fights in both this run and this video, cause it's not a boss rush, it's the base rush, I suppose. Anyway, we got a lazy explorer, a crown, and 2 whole green gems. As you might know, I'm traumatized by these guys, so it's good to have that RNG out of the way. Now it's time to get some more thulecite, craft the staves, the amulets and some armor, get some wires for gold and find a relic chair to learn its craft with the scanner. No need to be insane nor to wait for the resting horde to spawn. How handy is that? After getting some green mushrooms to restore our sanity, we can take on the Nightmare Werepig. I have a lot of experience fighting this boss, so I can probably now hit him as well, so that was no struggle at all. We don't need anything else in the caves just yet, so it's time to bounce on day 13. Well, I think it's time I explain the route a little. I'm not planning to kill the ancient Fuelweaver early in this run. Instead, I will do my best to open the lunar rifts as soon as possible to acquire Winona's full power, and then I'll bombard every boss that we need to. Which means Malbatross is not going down until very later, cause I don't care enough to find him. As for right now, I'm gonna leave all the crap on my base and make a skin Treadstone helmet and go grab my beefalo. I'll name him Rooknose later, so say hello to our newest companion. This cow is gonna become a hacking warrior, I'll tell you that much. Now let's make him a saddle and start a long process of taming. So while we have to constantly sit on his back, why don't we explore the map? I found a bunch of living logs, most of the important biomes, a few sauce marbles for Meta, Chester, Terrarium, and a junkyard for Wobot. Now we can make our own windbuds. We'll need a whole lot of rocks for the thermostone, catapults, crockpots, and you name it. Good thing I found a quarry as well. As soon as the winter started, my beef got in heat, but it's an easy fix, just going down the stairs. While we're here, we can also collect some light bulbs to feed this big guy with, and some fireflies for the spotlight. When we get back to the base, we craft said spotlight and a generator, turning our base in a constant heat and light station. No star collars, no glow caps, no skate furnaces, all it costs is a little nightmare fuel. That's what I call OP. And I've decided to build a snowman just for the heck of it. Next I attempted to get a Tema Shanter, but that was a waste of time. At least I got a walking cane, no more misclick telepoofs with the lazy explorer. Well, I reckon it's about time we start gathering the materials for the Pearls quests. Boards, cutstone, rope, marble, fireflies, light bulbs and carpet are no big deal, but I had no moon rock, so I've collected some from the Moonstone and head to the mosaic to mine some meteors, but there wasn't any. So I'm guessing our next best bet are the archives. That means down we go. That was a fine waste of time for sure. I've placed an icebox to store the light bulbs, which will evolve into the kitchen later. Next, I chopped down some trees for the boards, cause I need them not only for the hermit's house, and having a few extra will be very handy. While we're at the subject of wood, I've set a few trees on fire to get some charcoal for said kitchen. After that, I dug up 8 bushes for you know what reasons, and brutally animation cancelled another mock task for a Tema Shanter and actually got one. I'm gonna wear this bad boy 70% of the time now until I get the enlargement crown for myself. And that, as you will see, is not as soon as it might seem. But I'm getting way ahead of myself. Right now it's only day 30 and the Dewclops is coming to the party. So I trained my animation cancelling ability on her a little. Straight after that, it's day 31 and it's the full moon tonight. I just so happened to remember a clever trick from MS Larry to complete the Moonstone event with no more preparation than a few walls. You see, if the walls block the staff, but there's a gap, hounds and werepix will try to enter it without breaking the walls. But if we unload this gap and keep the altar itself loaded, the monsters will go too far away from the player and stop working, but they will still count towards the limit of the entities that the event can spawn. And just like that, we have ourselves the Mooncaller staff, and I didn't even have to lift a finger. Thanks MS Larry, love ya. I've also had enough time to get Gloma. I'll use his goop as a source of healing for a surprising amount of times today, so glad I've got him. Now we gotta craft an umbrella, a dapper vest for Pearl, some food, 4 flint, and get sealing. Found a message in the bottle in just a few minutes and she's on the opposite side of the map to where I was searching. Neat! I've decided to make a quick stop at my base to refresh my thermal stone and start the sealing from here. And guess what? I found Malbatross Coast and Cookie Cutters back to back. I'm so glad I won't have to spend forever looking for them. After getting 10 shells and some grass at Savannah, we head right to the granny. Putting the materials into her house, planting the bushes, all that jazz. Except this time I won't plant any flowers, cause it's winter and I can't get them obviously. Instead, I will give her both a dapper vest and an umbrella, which will be plenty enough to get her Pearl. Now it's spring and Rooknose is gonna get really cocky, but it cannot distract us from getting rid of the trash in the water and doing some weed whacking, granting us the Pearl's Pearl on day 36. And while getting home I got too wet and freeze to death. But I'm Winona and I'm immortal, so who cares? After that minor setback, I got back to the base, planted some kelp I stole from the Pearl, and deconstructed the Mooncaller staff for the gem. Because we are heading into the archives again, but this time for the astral detector. Well, since I plan on doing a lot of building in this world eventually, it will be nice to get the other blueprints as well while we're here. Before entering the caves right now, I was able to deal with Rooknose's behavior issues, but now I'm completely unable to ride him nor feed him for reasons I don't fully understand. So for now, I will just disable Beefalo's hit season in the world settings, cause I'm here to get fun and not to scream at my monitor every time those pixels screw me over. There's nothing really to talk about in this place, so I'll just say that I got the blueprints, grabbed 3 rainbow gems for the lunar grimoires in the late game, and went home. Before we go hunting the altars, we desperately need to deal with the wetness problem. That means paying a quick visit to the closest desert for some bone shards and making an umbrella. Usually I'd prefer an umbrella, but we don't have the flexibility at this moment, so the OG hat will have to do. Now that we don't freeze to death every 4 seconds, we can locate and bring together both of the SATCOM pieces. First one was located in Savannah and the second in the mini swamp of the big forest. Unfortunately, you can't use the dark vestige on the wormhole while you're carrying a heavy object, so we'll have to do it the old-fashioned way. I brought the pieces to the edge of the swamp, where the lunar island is going to be located, placed a boat and got rowing. After placing a first altar in this hilariously small triangle, I got busy mining the second one out of that stone prison and building it as well. Also, I left my backpack near the desert wormhole and my glasses in it, so I had to do a long trip back to get it. Right now, I'm about to fight the Crab King, so I'm preparing some catapults with a generator to assist me and some boards to make and heal the boat, providing me about 50 pine cones that we will satisfy and demolish later. Next, I went back to the ruins to grab some gems for which I didn't have enough inventory space for earlier. And when I went back home, Rooknose finally poofed. Now he's ready for some serious battles. But we'll not use him in the Crab King one, because we kinda need to row and heal our boat, and riding a beefalo would make it extremely inconvenient, if not straight up impossible. Now we settle our battleship and approach this giant sandcastle. Catapults are really good in this fight. They keep attacking Crab King while I can't reach him, so instead of having to come up close and deal with the claws, I can fix my boat and set catapults to barrage, while they chip Crab King into his nice ice platform cycle. Nothing special, just Winona being an S++ character once again. After a quick stop at the base, I rushed back to the tribute to get it on the lunar as well, but I've stumbled upon a moose goose on my way, so I animation cancelled her and her babies for some down feathers. Now check this out. I needed to place a lightning rod down on my boat before one strikes and destroys it, but I didn't have any rocks, so I just rammed into the closest sea stock, and those rocks dropped right on my boat. Ultimate gaming right here, ladies and gents. And now it's time for the moonstorms on day 52. Well, not quite. You see, I need some sort of storm protection before I can begin the process of getting those materials, but currently I have none. Brighted Helm is obviously unavailable right now, and for the life of me, I hate struggles. So that leaves us with the desert goggles. But it ain't summer yet. So while we wait for it, I figured it'd be a great idea to get the shadow pieces prep out of the way. We are only missing the knight's hat and the rook nose. Not that one is right here. Or so I thought. I've actually discovered the night hat already, it just was hidden under the moonstones. So I spent a while exploring the whole map before realizing it. Well, I'd have to do it at some point eventually, so I'm not that mad. On day 57, at long last, I summoned the non-shadow pieces for the sketches, and sculptured 1 knight, 1 bishop and 2 rooks. That's right, I'm fighting 2 level 3 rooks at the same time on a beefalo with just a regular saddle and no healing. I hope that goes well. But it's a future me problem. Right now we still need those goggles. Took little to no time to fish the blueprint up. I've even managed to catch the red crown for those sweet refreshed cobblestones. You know how it goes now, 50 moon gleams, the static, 30 glass charges and the celestial orb, which, luckily, has fallen near the portal. Now we are finally ready to take on the celestial champion. And by we, I actually mean Rooknose. He held well, but at the beginning of the third phase his health dropped very low. So I had to chop some trees for the moon moth wings, which were enough to heal my beef to full. And just like that, Celestial Champion has been defeated on day 65, and the Lunar Rift is going to be opened 5 days later on 70. Also, giving Wagstaff the crown shot triggered the new moon, which means we're fighting the shadow pieces straight away. Besides getting hard comboed by Bishop and Rooks, terrorized by nightmares and being just barely able to dodge the level 3 Rook's attacks, it wasn't that hard. It was inhumanely hard. Now that we have the access to the enlightened shards, it's time for us to change our skill tree. I had all of the materials for the celestial portal upgrade, so it's time to say goodbye to the Shadow Affinity. We are getting rid of both Charlie's Blessings, Nightmare Generator and Barrage remote button, in favor of all 5 lunar skills, being Finder's Keeper 1 and 2, Planet Strike, and both Generator skills. I'll explain what they do as we get them in the run. As of for right now, let's catch 4 rabbits for the Prestidigitator on our way back to base. After placing it down, we can build a Shadow Manipulator, then prototype a Purple Gem, a Nightmare Amulet, and a Dark Sword. Now I can craft 2 Generators and deconstruct the Enlightened Crown for its shard. One of them is going to power the Spotlight at the base, the other 4 are for the catapults. Finder's Keeper 2 allows advanced cache boxes to spawn, giving us the access to the telepod and poster roll. But we do need to get some more silk for the trusted tape before we can make them. Right now we've only got the blueprint for the telepad, so we won't be able to telepoof for a while. But it's okay, because the lunar rift is finally opened, so I replanted the berry bushes near my base to create a lure for bright shades and tried hunting down a wog, but its corpse burned. Well, maybe another time then. I reckon I might get the fossils for Fuelweaver, because we're really close to fighting him at this point. While doing that, I've stumbled upon a Fortuna's rabbit. So this is the first time I'm killing the Rabbit King outside of the testing world. His dropkick can knock you off your beefalo, but they are laughably easy to dodge, so the whole fight was a joke. And also, there was a worm wave, so we are battling the Grey Depths Worm. I said, we are battling the Grey Depths Worm? Well, I don't think he's in the mood right now. RNG-based bosses are very annoying indeed. At least I was blessed with another shot at the possessed work, and this time I ain't blowing it. I already have 1 beefalo to dump all my problems on, so why don't I take a whole herd? Basically I've had the cows to fight it for me. Now we have access to pure brilliance, and oh boy, this is where late game Winona truly begins. You see all these trees? They'd definitely take a while to chop, wouldn't they? Wrong. Not only Planet Strike is useful for its utility, but it also deals insane damage in an AoE area, and in no time at all. With a right setup, Winona can easily surpass Wolfgang's DPS. And this isn't even all she's got. You see where I'm going here? For example, heck, I'm all out of rocks, but I don't want to mine it manually. That would take forever. Well, how about we destroy a whole Talbot fortress for meat and minerals in just 1 day then? Sounds OP? That's what I'm talking about. I just cannot express how much I love Winona. Well, this is the reason why this series exists, so I guess that's how much. Okay, that's enough flex for now. The Berger has spawned already. We're gonna leave him here for now though, cause I am not fighting Armored Berger with no planet gear. So we are raiding the rift first. Thankfully, Planet Strike allows us to mine the brilliance in no time. Okay, I stop now. How about we prepare 2 more rooks and another generator now? Also, it'd be a great idea to get rid of the berry bushes on the Pearl's Island, so they don't attract any bright shades. Might as well give her a broken pearl to cause more treasures to spawn and a psychological trauma. Now that the moonweeds are here, we can safely demolish him with our catapult. Not with the Planet Strike though, cause I'm pretty sure it's going to dig up the bushes, and I don't want that. Next, I placed a chest with my windbots near that wood pile, so they'd collect all the logs. Winona is just so awesome. Now I duplicated a bunch of rift materials with a deconstruction staff and a construction amulet, and forged myself a staff and a sword. We don't quite have enough for the helmet though, so I had to come back to the rift for that brilliance. Now let's finish the job making a helmet and 5 repair kits. The tools will have to wait for now. Now we can fight the big fuzzy. And of course I made him kill a bunch of spiders and beefaloes first. But he was still at about 6000 health, so I had to finish him myself. Only Crystal Deer Club stands between us and the Polar Badger bin now. Oh, finally, Telebrella blueprint. I've been looking for it for a while but had no luck with advanced cache boxes. Now we can telepoof to our base from anywhere on the map. I've also made a second telepod in the caves. Also, I've killed more Bright Shades, which means we can make the tools now. Okay, we have all of the Bright Shade gear now, so it's time we seriously consider the Fuelweaver fight. We need decent health and sanity healing. Just like in my boss rush, I'll choose Pyrogis and cooked cacti. So I went to the desert for the spiky plants, and to the swamp for some papyrus. By the way, I'll stop showing you the bright shade waves from now on, cause it ain't that important no more. Today is also the new moon, so it's time to get ready for the second round on shadow pieces. The last time, to be honest, they kinda kicked my butt even though I was victorious. But this once, I've got 6 Planner Strike catapults, so let's see who's the boss now. Yeah, Rooknose had under 200 health, but they got destroyed. I'll take that as a draw. Okay, back to Fuelweaver now. It is time to become Gordon Ramsay and get everything cooked. Birdcage? Check. Pierogies? Check. Cacti? Check. Now we take everything, including a catapult, set up the telepad and kill that tentapillar, granting us the access to the atrium. Also, I didn't forget to grab the ancient key and craft the shadow station for once. We have 4 planet catapults and bright shade equipment. Now watch this guy melt on day 91. Besides Terrabig screwing me over, the fight was an absolute cinema. I've got no more than 2 words to say. Winona OP. On day 97, the Shadow Rifts will crack the ground. What a shame we've only got a few days left in this video. Anyway, we can just teleport to the staircase now, avoiding all of the atrium's clockworks and saving a whole lot of time. While we've been busy fighting Fuelweaver, the winter started. So it's time to make a hostile flare to summon the Deerclops and then kill her. Twice. And now we have our first and probably the last Spark Arc, cause I never really used the other 2 items. After a quick trip to the archives to power it, we can finally make our portable icebox with a brand new skin, which is currently bugged and resets when you open it, but not much I can do about this, I guess. On day 95, I've made a second moon collar, so it'd be easier to survive the summer. Also, I've made all my meat into meat stews to put them in the bin so they wouldn't spoil this fast. And now it's finally time to take on Klaus on day 97. I didn't have enough time for him last season, so it's time to correct our mistakes. Now check this out. I can scan bundled supplies for a bundling wrap blueprint. And I never had to kill Big Queen nor rely on RNG from Klaus. Say it with me. Winona OP. By the way, the Shadow Rift's open, so why don't we corrupt our Shadow Atriums and kill some Ink Blights while we have a chance. Generator with a spotlight will keep us warm when we need it. Winona OP. Let's start on taking on the trio, forgetting to drop the Dreadstone of course. Then we'll make a quick stop at our station to clear it from the annoying clockworks, and only then shall we proceed to the labyrinth and beat some mimics. Also, I figured while we are down here in the caves, we might as well kill the ancient guardian once more. For some green gems perhaps. 3 greens, 2 yellows, 9 fulicides, a star collar and a crown. Amazing loot, totally worth the while. Now we can craft a few amulets, rescue Hutch and telepoof home. And that concludes this episode. We were able to beat Celestial Champion, all mutated bosses, Fuelweaver and a bunch of small ones, built our catapult army and even started making progress towards obtaining the Shadow Rift's gear, as well as setting up the teletransportation system along the world in just 100 days. That was heck of a lot of fun. But in the next episode we are going to do even more insane things now that we are in the late game, where Winona truly shines. I ain't gonna spoil you too much, but I will say that we are rushing the Moon Key and making a Celestial Champion farm. Please don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on the next episode, as well as leaving a like and a comment. It really makes my heart spark with joy to see these numbers go up, and I absolutely love reading all your feedback. You guys are the best forming community I've ever seen, and I wanna keep that rolling. Well, I guess that's all I got for you for today. Thank you so much for watching, really hope to see you in the next one. This was Blacksilwand, have a good one. Say it with me. Winona OP!